Hello everyone, it is 1 o'clock and I'm here every day as usual. So hopefully your day has been going well. It is Tuesday today, right? The weeks are all blurring into one and it's just awesome to have you here. Write hello in the chat, write open source in the chat because I hope you're doing open source work and not watching too much Netflix. And I think, people have asked for a theme. When I get guests on, I think I'll get better as a theme. But today I'm really quite passionate about getting more people into open source, especially when people have more time now. They're saving time from traveling and must be getting bored of Netflix and, Amazon Prime and so forth. And in the UK, we actually have a 4-day weekend this weekend. So I will be participating, I say partnering with a hackathon this weekend, so that's my Saturday and Sunday quite busy. But there is the Friday and Monday, and I do plan to soundproof my room a bit more. But the other thing I'd like to do is do some more open source. I know in yesterday's live stream the video was a bit jittery, so hopefully today it's okay. Let me know how it is. Let me know how the video and audio is, and hopefully it's a lot better. Let me zoom in and see how it looks. How does that look? Is the focus looks a bit, the focus is because of the hat, right? It can't do the face tracking. So now it's probably a lot better. And let me know how I hope it's not too jittery. I know a few people said it was dropping frames. Oh wow, it's not a good start to the day. But yeah, one of my challenges for today is I've actually tried to deploy an NPM module. But it's not my module, and it's a third party's module, but it's going to host it privately on NPM so we can then easily deploy it when we go to development, staging and production. But their paths and their files don't match up, so I've got some challenges around that. What are your challenges looking like? I see Andrew's writing to me on Slack. Andrew, I can't check Slack now. I'm on a live stream. Write in the comments on YouTube, unless it's really... unless it's private or something like that. But yeah, whoever's here, let me know how your day is going. Hopefully it's been going well. How were your challenges from yesterday's, like lunchtime live stream, or just generally yesterday? Have you overcome them now? And are you now onto your next challenge that you're going to succeed through on today? So do let me know how it's going. So I mentioned NPM for me, and then I'll be finishing off with a client soon, hopefully today or tomorrow, and I plan to do a lot more live streams, a lot more coding live streams. I have got quite a few planned. I plan to pair with a few people who are on my GDG Angular course, and they've got some projects, not just in Angular, but some other open source projects, and I'm quite keen to pair with them. I want to pair with them on the live stream. I'm actually keen for someone to pair with me as I redo my website. I'm quite keen for someone to give me feedback. I'm actually interested to look at my phone and to see how the video is, and hopefully it's not jittery. It looks okay today, actually. So how is your Tuesday going? Do share, don't be shy. Write hello in the chat. Let me know who's here, and ask any questions that I can help with, or if I know someone who can help with it, I'll get them on the stream or get them in touch with you. Or I can, share their handle in the chat, and you can reach out to them yourself. Spectra, thank you very much for letting me know it looks good. That's good to hear. So hopefully better than yesterday. I had the first minute was a bit blurry with my cap on forwards and it wasn't focusing. You need to remember that. And the sun's like blaring through. I mean, if I show you it's like quite bright. So on Saturday, I do have panels to block out that window arriving. So then hopefully it shouldn't, the lighting won't change so much and it shouldn't be so washed out. Joshua, good to see you again today. So how are both your days going? So Spectre and Joshua, how is your day going? Hopefully all is going well, and having some challenges is not a problem. It's just as we are as techies, right? We have challenges every day, and we work through those challenges. So let me know what challenges, and if you've got a challenge that I can help out with, or I know someone who can help, gladly help out. I know that some of my friends, their Blue Yeti has arrived. So Sam, if you're on the stream, I know your Blue Yeti microphone has arrived, and I look forward to having you on my stream, and we can give your Blue Yeti a test run. Who saw the live stream from yesterday evening? I partnered with GDG Cloud last night, and I had two talks on my channel. One was about machine learning, and one was about micro front ends, and that was actually really, really interesting. Just starting 10 a.m. stateside. Oh, yes, of course, it's early morning for you. 8 a.m. is quite an early start for work, but I hope everything's going well. So yeah, no challenges yet. Hopefully the challenges that you had yesterday, you completed yesterday, or you got some crazy ideas over the evening, over the night. That's what usually happens. Like I'm going to bed, like brushing my teeth, and I'm like, oh yes, I know how to solve that now. So yes, that's the way it usually happens with me. So hopefully, yeah, you've managed to solve your challenges from yesterday, and today you have a productive and good day. And hopefully people aren't feeling too isolated working from home. I mean, these live streams are what keep me going every day, to chat to people, to see what they're up to. Yesterday there were some really good questions on the live stream. They were more directed at the speakers, but it was really good to see the chat and the conversation going. I think we had a concurrent 30 people throughout the whole hour and a half live stream, and we peaked nearing 40. That was really good. One of my kind of most active streams. I was trying to keep up with the chat, and you wouldn't believe it. Actually, the challenge from yesterday was I was managing the slides. If you saw that, please tell me, like, how bad was it when you had the presenter, the speaker going next, next, and I was like pressing next. And I pressed it too many times and had to go back, and that was quite hard. I was sweating. The stress was like so much stress. So hopefully that wasn't too bad for the people watching. If you didn't watch it, I'd say don't go back and watch it because it was quite embarrassing, but you might want to go back for a laugh and have a look. So I need to sort out remote slides for the future. And you wouldn't even believe it gets even worse. Get like 3/4 of the way through the slides as I'm going next and next, stressing out. And it says demo, and I'm like, how is the speaker going to do a demo if I'm controlling their slides? So that, yeah, they handled it well and said, oh, let's just skip. And I was like, whew. I do have a question. When using Firebase, what do you do to store images? I'm having issues with 1 meg doc max. Oh, that's a good question. So let's bring that up on the screen. Oh, there we go. It's an old question. I did send it. It didn't work. Send. Says I've sent it. Why does it not come up in socials? That's an old social. I busted it. Having some technical issues already. That's kind of weird. I don't know why. So I can't bring up that question on the screen. Sorry. Sorry, Joshua. But yes, it's a really good question. I actually have Firebase does have like an S3 equivalent storage, and I haven't used it. At the moment, when I'm using Firebase stuff, a lot of the time it's been for more prototypes, for those sort of things. So I just get people to put in a URL, and then I just save a string in the database, and I just load it as a remote image. So I actually haven't done that, but it does have image storage like S3, and it does seem pretty kind of S3-esque, like as in very similar to S3. So when you're storing it at the moment, you're storing 1 meg. What is the error that you're getting? Ajesh, thanks for joining. Hopefully I pronounced your name right. It was fine. You're too hard on yourself. Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm glad it was okay. And I remember one of the other things when the presenter in their slide had a video, I'd press next, and the video was playing, and then the speaker went next. I'd press next, and it would like take 10 seconds. For some reason, it was like really slow to go to the next slide, and it was because it's playing through the browser, and they would go, yeah, next, and I'm like, I've pressed next, and then one time I pressed it twice because I was like, maybe it didn't register, and then it jumped 2 slides. I had to go back. So thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I'm kind of annoyed I can't bring these up on the screen, and I don't know why it's not coming up on the screen. I'm quite keen to. Yeah, it says it should be working. Wait a second. I know why it's not working. Okay, let's try this time. If I send it again, so let's have a look. Magic, it works. Okay, I just learned something new. But thank you very much. I really appreciate it for your positive feedback. I'm sure there are lots of improvements to be made. I've actually got my video editor at the moment. Alona, if you're watching, thank you so much for all your hard work over the last, I don't know, year and a half. but she's also going to do some animations for me, and it's like some geeky, I'm going to make it like a geeky stream so I can frame myself a bit better with little geeky stuff. But yeah, she's working on that at the moment, so I have some surprises for you next week. So yes, still improving all the time, and keen to bring in lots of guests for you. How is everyone else's day going? So we've got a Firebase question. I'm interested to know what the limit is for the 1 megabyte dock. I don't know if it's a setting in Firebase that you're limited to 1 megs, or like if that's the default, but you can override it in code or config, or if you're getting an error. We have, I want to get these names wrong again. Oh, I don't think the emojis will come through. I can't say emojis will come through. Let me just see. No, stay home, good vibes. Okay, it doesn't come through. But Lael, oh my God, I pronounce your name wrong every time. I need to practice this more. From Lebanon has just joined, who uses Firebase a lot, but more from an Android and Kotlin background. But maybe she can answer the previous question. So if I swap back to that one, on the Firebase question, I don't know if you have any feedback and suggestions on this. Here we go, here's an updated version. Thanks, Joshua. So it says, Firebase has a 1 meg max limit to docs, so it sucks for image storing. Oh, you're storing it in the Firebase database. I was wondering what solution you, oh yeah, I wouldn't store it in the actual Firebase, Firestore, sorry, you did write Firestore. I wouldn't store it in the Firestore. I was going to, I would store it in the actual file storage. So let me just bring up, Firebase does actually have a file store that I would store it in there. And in Firestore, I would store the string, the path to it. Yeah, it's called cloud storage, and you're using it for web, so you can use it for web. Let me share a link, and I'll share a link in the chat to it. So hopefully, I haven't set it up so I can share my screen yet. I will do that soon, so I can actually show you what I'm looking at. But yeah, so I would store the file in storage, definitely not in the Firestore database, and then I would store a reference to where it's stored in the storage in the Firestore database, and then that way, yeah, you're not limited to the Firestore document size, because yeah, to have a kind of binary in there, it really isn't nice. I really wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that with any database, even if it was, say, Mongo or MySQL or anything like that. I'd always store the file in a storage place, and then the database just stores a reference to it with some metadata like the user, when it was, etc., and all those sorts of things. So hopefully that helps. Any reason why you wanted to store it in the database rather than the file store? Ah, okay. Awesome. Ah, good to hear. Awesome. Yes. Oh, I'll put that on the screen. And we have Amadine here. Amadine, thank you so much for joining, always so supportive. It's really good to have you here. And when is your next live stream going? So if people who don't know, I mention Amadine every time because she joins every time, and she also live streams, and I love it. So Amadine live streams every Saturday. So I think your live streams this Saturday, I guess. But I'm hoping to encourage her to live stream a bit more. Her live streams are always awesome and often focused around startups and entrepreneurship. And live streaming, actually. She gets a lot of questions around live streaming because she knows a lot about that. I'm good, thank you, Amadine. All is well. I've got some challenges around my client, but nothing new. The client's being good. It's the third party that they're using, and me trying to host the third party's library on our private storage on like NPM. Their paths are all messed up, and it works locally, but when I host it so I can then deploy our product, it just goes all pear-shaped. So looking at it at the moment. Lael, Miss Matar, your surname's easier than your first name. You've got too many syllables in your first name. Yes, we store images in a Firebase storage and add a link to the Firestore. Awesome. Thanks for confirming that, because I haven't actually done that before. I was just aware that it was possible. Hersil, hopefully I pronounced that right. Good morning from the east coast of USA. And I think Joshua's the same from the east coast as well. And it's, I think, just gone 8 a.m. there, so nice and early. So I guess west coast is still asleep. What's the difference with the West Coast? Are they like 2 hours, 3 hours behind the East Coast? I've never really thought about it actually. It's just, yeah, I guess so big. Thanks, Eddie. I like stopping by every day and catching up with you. Yeah, it's awesome. It's really good. I love catching up with people every day. You know, I allocate 1 till 2 every day. Really strict. Start at 1 on the dot as much as I can, and finish at 2 on the dot as well. And I think it's just a good time for people to, just chat to each other. I love it how Joshua just, said hey to you in the chat, and I think it's good for other people to chat between people and learn from each other and network and all the rest. So if anyone has any open source projects or any links to their YouTube channels or Twitch channels and they want to share it in the chat, by all means share it in the chat. It should come up and ask me to approve, and I'm more than happy to approve that. But I know sometimes it doesn't, so it's kind of weird. Just DM me on Twitter or something and I can grab through and drop them in the chat. I think I can manage that while doing a live stream. I'll be live this Saturday. Awesome. So chill out stream, and fingers crossed my video will go live before that. Oh, my first video will go live before that. Yes, we are looking forward to your first video. Remember, good enough doesn't have to be perfect. So looking forward to that. And you need to encourage Miss Mata, I sound like so formal to say that, to do more live streaming. So she's done some videos on her YouTube channel, and they're awesome of her public speaking. But I think, to get that engagement with your audience, it's really good to do some live streams. I love the Q&A and the questions and answers. One of my friends had an idea to build a small tool that could be useful for lots of people. Any tips convincing him to open source it once it's ready? I have loads of tips to do that, about open sourcing a project, but I would say people want to be with you on the journey. So I wouldn't say open source once it's ready, like open source before you even start coding. As soon as you've got the idea, then open source the project, even if the project itself is empty, because you've got the issue tracker on GitHub, you've got the project board where you can drag across, and a bit like a Trello board. And then you can start putting your ideas down there, people can start seeing it. Imagine like a live stream, people want to be involved in the chat, people want to ask questions, see what other questions are being asked. I find my live streams, and I've got a point to this with open source, so bear with me. Live streams, people watch them and involved in them, or they might just sit back and watch, but they want to see the Q&A, and they might chime in the chat, they might not. But after a live stream is finished, I hardly get any views on my live streams. My videos get views 1 month later, 6 months later, and they keep trickling in. But live streams don't. And I think with an open source project, if it's ready, like it's at the end, then it's unlikely to get the benefit of the community and build a community around it. Because it's like a live stream, right? It's finished. Although our project's really never finished, but when people say it's ready, I guess they get to a certain point and it doesn't have as much activity on it. Whereas if you open source it from day one, people want to be in that journey with you. They want to get involved in the conversation. They want to make suggestions and contributions. So I would highly recommend you tell them to open source right from day one. Also, that way it's more secure, because they'll think, oh, I can't put passwords or private keys in the code base. Whereas if it's private, they can say, oh, I'll sort it out later on, And even if they delete it later on, it's still in the history. So it's safer. It's not only better for the project, the community, and all that good stuff, but it's also safer from a security point of view if they open source it from the beginning, because then they've got that kind of open mentality in their mind from day one. Yes, we're all looking forward to watching Amidine's live stream. She's really good, and she alternates. So this week is a chill out stream, I think she said, and then the week after will be she'll do a collab. We'll have a guest on, because last week she had a guest on as well, and that was really awesome. So also let me know if anyone would like to join me on my live streams. I do have about 15 people lined up, and as soon as I finished from my work on my client, which should be today, tomorrow, and a couple of days next week, I do plan to get these guests on for you, so you can get a different perspective. So it's not just me, right? You can hear someone else's story, and you can ask them questions and so forth. And if you want to be one of those people, do ping me, and I'd love to get you on here, and we can just chill out, chat geek, talk and answer some questions. And you don't have to be on for the whole hour, right? If you want to be on just for kind of 15-20 minutes or whatever it is, that's also fine. And if you're watching, don't forget to give my video a thumbs up. It really helps me. So thank you very much. And I love these chats, and I really appreciate you all taking the time out of your day to be here. And I hope everyone's day is going well. Everyone seems really upbeat, which is really good, right? The weather in the UK is getting better. I know people in places like Lebanon have good weather all year round practically, so they, I guess, can't appreciate it so much, but we have sun today. We had sun on the weekend. I did get a red nose at the weekend, as I got a bit sunburnt, you wouldn't believe it, in the UK in kind of April, beginning of April. But the weather's supposed to be good from, I think, tomorrow. It's like 20 degrees, so I'm really, really excited. I just got an email, I just saw the notification come up from my client saying they have a question or maybe an option to do with this NPM hosting stuff of their project. I could go in and change their file paths to make them more relative, but it's because it's their library, I don't want to change things because I don't know what else it breaks, or in the future when they give us an updated version, I need to deploy it. If I forget to do it, it will break. Again, I think that should come from their side. So let me know if you've been in that situation before or what you would do. Would you just update it and just get on with it and just try and get the project deployed today? Or would you push back to the third party and say, look, you need to do something that kind of is industry standard, right? It should be deployed to NPM and just work. It's a little cloudy here today. Yeah, but I bet you it's over 20 degrees in Lebanon though. I'm so happy that tomorrow we're actually kind of hitting 20 degrees. 20 degrees. I woke up this morning, I was going to have breakfast outside because it looked a bit sunny and it was like 8 degrees and I was like, 8 degrees C, no way, that's too cold for breakfast. I wasn't even in the sun yet. The sun hadn't come kind of round the trees yet. So what's everyone's plan for the rest of the week? What challenges do you have? And I guess what successes do you want to achieve this week? Let me know. Anything I can help with, also let me know. If you're working on some open source projects, there is a hackathon this weekend. Let me get a link to see if anyone's joining this hackathon. And I'm partnering with them, and the goal is to do behind the scenes kind of live stream with the teams. I mentioned this yesterday, and a really good support from people in the chat, especially Amadine. She was really supportive. So let me share this link in the chat and have a look and see if you're going to join this hackathon. And if you do, let me know. I'd love to get you and your team on my live stream on the Saturday. It's a Saturday and Sunday event, and you can join from anywhere in the world. It's open to everybody, and I'm really keen to get the teams on my channel and just share what tech they're using, what challenge they're trying to solve. And it's really interesting to see the teams, what they plan to do, and then we'll catch up with them again on Sunday before their final presentations and find out, they can do a practice presentation on my live stream, and people watching can give feedback and also see how much they've managed to achieve and what other challenges came up. I love hearing the stories and how they got around it and how they didn't get around some of the stuff and they had to kind of fake it or cut it out or pivot. Pivot's really interesting. It's what I love about hackathons, because it really not only shows people's true colors, but also it shows kind of like a startup, like an intense 1-year startup in 2 days. And I think that's really, really important. I don't think people should start a startup until they've been to a few hackathons and realize how you're suddenly going to make the hard decision, and you can't make things perfect and you can't get too religious about technologies. I've seen people, I went to one hackathon and they really wanted to use React Native, hadn't used it before, and I suggested using Ionic because that's what most people in the team knew, and it was just a hackathon didn't need to be super performant, and they wanted to use React Native. We wasted an entire day trying to get React Native and I think Bluetooth Bluetooth beacons to connect with, and it wouldn't work because React Native, like React as a library, it's quite small, and the Bluetooth integration was a third party that wasn't supported. It was out of date. And after a day, I just woke up the next morning, spent 30 minutes using Ionic. Not only did it look better, it actually worked with the Bluetooth beacons, because the Bluetooth library or module as part of the Ionic framework was not a third party. It was an official library, so it was kept up to date and was supported. So I'm not saying one's better than the other, but for what we needed, it was better and made sense. And we actually won the hackathon. It was an accessibility hackathon, and that was really interesting using the Bluetooth beacons. I've never done a virtual hackathon, so I'm really interested to see the challenges that people have, how they communicate within their teams. Again, that's why I'm also keen to live stream it, because I think it will not only help the team kind of gel together better, but also kind of let them check in, let them articulate their challenges and their goals and what they want to achieve. And I think that should kind of solidify that team dynamics, and so that should be quite interesting. But let me know if you are going to attend this hackathon, or not attend. It's a virtual hackathon. If you're going to take part in this hackathon, or any others that you're aware of, or any others you're taking part in, I'd love to know. And it's always interesting to see. I've got more spare time coming up, so I'm going to be pairing with more people coding on my channel. So I'm really looking forward to doing that. I've got a few people lined up for that too. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, I need to redo my website. Like at the moment, it's kind of like a one-page picture and like one paragraph. I'm going to live stream on that. I'm actually keen for people to pair with me on that. I might just do that in raw HTML, CSS maybe, or I might cheat, use a template, or I might use something like Angular material where I can just customize it. I don't know. I have to have a think and see. Let me know your suggestions. Actually, I can show you what I've got at the moment with my website. Don't laugh. It's a bit embarrassing. It hasn't been updated. My website is actually hosted. I'm laughing, and there's a reason I'm laughing. My website is hosted on GitHub Pages. I've never had a problem with that. Just went to my website, and the domain redirected to the GitHub Pages URL, as issued correctly, and it says GitHub Pages is temporarily down for maintenance. I've never seen that before, but no, GitHub Pages is down for maintenance, so I can't actually even show you my website. But you can sign up for a newsletter on there as well. I'm going to share it in the chat, but it's, as you'll see, it says temporary down for GitHub Pages, temporary down for maintenance. Abu Zir, good to have you here. How are you doing? All going well? I hope everything's good with you. How has everything been since yesterday's lunchtime and today's? Have you had some challenges? Have you had some successes? And kind of powering through those challenges, and hopefully you've moved on to the next set of challenges, right? That's what we solve as techies or as geeks. You don't just have to be coders. You could be testers, live streamers, or even just involved in a startup, have your own, or be working for us. I think we're there to solve problems, and when you solve one problem, guess what? You just get the next problem, and that's part of the fun, right? That's the beauty of kind of being an important cog within a startup, is that you're always just solving these challenges, and I think I really enjoy that, and I think most people here really enjoy that too. So yeah, it's good. And I think when you're stuck on a challenge for too long, definitely ask your network, ask your friends. Hey, ask me. I probably won't know the answer, but if I don't, I will know someone who does, and we can find out for you. And I think it's important to move on and continue little and often, right? Don't pick up, if you've got a big challenge you need to solve, like, I don't know, build a website, and then the first thing is like get hello world, then get it deployed, and then kind of, add the next bit, and then add the next bit, little and often. I think that goes for everything. Yep, everything's good. How's everything with you? Yeah, all good. All is good with me. Thank you very much for asking. Yeah, everything's good. Can't complain. The sun is shining, as you can see. It's kind of, if I just switch again, if I just bring it in, you can see the sun is shining. This Saturday, I'm going to block out that window and put the soundproof stuff up. So therefore, the lighting will be more consistent here, because I know I get quite washed out and all the rest. So true. Such a great feeling to get lost in a problem and find a solution. Yes, and if you don't find a solution, don't kind of keep digging. I don't know, with me, and I think a lot of techies find this, you just kind of keep digging. It's then like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 2 a.m. and you're just going, I'm not going to go to bed until I solve this. And then either you wake up the next morning, or you get a message the next morning from a friend who you ask, and then it's just solved in like 10 minutes. And that happens to me a lot. So I think it's good to kind of sometimes, if you spend time box it, if you spend too long on it, bring yourself kind of out of the problem, take a break, ask someone in your network, or rubber ducking, right? Ask the duck sitting next to you, explain the problem to them as if you were explaining it to somebody else. And usually by you doing that, you realise the solution. Yep, mine as well. Mine as well. What was that for? I can't remember, sorry. I've got lost in the chat. What was mine as well? Is that... Yeah, tell me what that was about. I've forgotten. Sorry, I'm a bit lost. Actually, we should get you on the live stream, because you've been promising your live stream with me for a long time and you haven't. So when are you going to join me on the live stream? And then you can tell me how to pronounce your name. I'm sure it was Lael. Lael? Lael. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. But let's get you on the live stream and then you can tell me how to pronounce it. And you can talk about Kotlin and why you prefer it to Java for Android development. I think I remember you mentioning, and I see from your Instagram. And yeah, what projects you're working on. And you've got a new open source project. Yes, you have. Tell us about your open source project. You didn't remind me, I completely forgot. Tell us about your open source project. And on my future live streams, near future live streams, I'll get it so I can share. I can share my screen and we can have a look. I can give you some suggestions on your open source project, and I think that'll be cool. If you don't want any suggestions, then just close those issues when I raise them. But yeah, I can't do that now because I haven't configured it to share my screen yet, because I need to install this into my PC. And once I've installed this today or maybe tomorrow, then I can share my screen more easily. So yes, another challenge of mine. I've just got a whole list of challenges, and I'm just working through them, prioritizing them. Client is always at the top, always, absolutely. I was hoping to say yes, let's join the live stream, and then I was going to say, well, how about now? And I was going to send you a link to join, but yeah, I guess that's how I kind of envisaged it in my head, but probably not. Angular forks 16,000, React forks 28,000. Oh, we're back to the statistics again on Angular versus React. Yeah, it has more forks. I mean, you should probably look at contributions rather than forks, because a lot of those forks, on either of them, I don't know which ones or where it lies, people might just be forking it and then they've done nothing with it. So I think you need to look at contributions. But I don't know if you can look at other people's contributions, or if you can only look at your own if you're the admin or the maintainer on a project. So I have to check that out and see if you can click on the contributors and have a look and see how many in the last 12 months. I think it's usually by 12 months. Have a look and see. Again, I think it's the right tool for the right project. Definitely, absolutely. We should do. I'm waiting for Lael to do a Kotlin live stream. I'm interested to learn a bit more about Kotlin. Although I am in the Node space, the full stack JavaScript, more TypeScript. But interested to see Kotlin's getting more and more popular. It was Scala at one point, and Scala just seems to be kind of dying a lot. And a lot of friends have moved to Kotlin, so I hear it's quite good. I think JetBrains have done a good job. I think it's JetBrains done a good job with that language. Angular Material Library has less components than React Material, finally because Material concept is from Google. Yeah, that's interesting. Does React have a lot more Material components? That is interesting. Yeah, I don't know what to say to that really. It's just one of those things. They're both open source, right? So we could contribute to Angular Material to add more components in, I suppose. Joshua's laughing. Joshua, which bit are you laughing about? I can't remember. I'm just kind of saying lots of stuff and I don't remember which bit. I mean, the chat should be, I've got it on low latency, so the chat should be pretty much in real time, but my memory is terrible, so I've kind of like forgotten everything I've said already. In my current company, when I find some time, I work with Kotlin on Android. Is Kotlin just for Android, or is Kotlin just goes down to the JVM, right? So could you do Spring with Kotlin, or does it not work like that? Or is Kotlin specifically for Android? I know it's a language, but does it come with a framework as well, or something like that? Interesting things that I'd be interested to know more about. I don't think it's anything I'll use, although I do love Java and the strictness of it. As long as Kotlin's not like Groovy, it's fine. I used Groovy at Hackathon once and did not like that. It reminded me of like PHP 5, where there's no like types and so forth. Laughing, React versus Angular fork rivalry. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I used to think a lot like that. I see them more as vanity metrics. God, I can't even talk today. I've got some Lucas here to keep me going. Yeah, those vanity metrics. Again, it's like when someone says to me, "Oh, Eddie, your videos have got more views than mine on YouTube." But then I look at their video, and yes, they've got less views, but they've got more comments. So I think that comments are more valuable than views. So say if I have 1,000 views on my video, but like 2 comments, and then they've got, I don't know, 100 views, but they've got 30 comments, I actually think that their engagement with their audience is better. So yeah, I think it's not about vanity metrics, it's about, I guess, the quality. Connor, long time. How have you been? Wow, it has been a really long time. I can't remember the last time you joined. It's been a while. Currently working as a junior developer using Vue and C Sharp, working from home at the moment. How are you? Awesome. Yeah, I'm really good, thank you. I love getting the chat, the chats coming in, the questions and the comments and the feedback. Love it. Good to hear from you again. Glad you're working as junior dev. Vue, I hear, is awesome. I haven't tried it myself, but I hear it's got the best of both, React and Angular. So that's really cool. And I haven't used C Sharp, but I hear the language is good. I haven't used it, but I hear good things about it. So it looks like you're using a good tool set, good ecosystem. So glad that's going well. How is your open source going though? I hope your open source is going well. Oh, I need to put this up. Definitely needs to go up. We point to it on the side. Am I pointing the right way? I'm pointing the right way. Very, very soon. How very? As in like now? We've got like 25 minutes left. Shall I send you a link and you join for the last like 10 minutes? How soon? Come on, let's be real. Let's quantify it. How soon? Abuzir, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, agrees. Yeah, engagement is key. Yeah, it really is. So that's why I love live streaming more than videos. And videos I can really polish up and like condense it. I can do like a 20-minute video, but I can chop it down to the best 5 minutes, 5, 6, 7 minutes, whatever it is. But and then edit it. Okay, I won't do the editing. My video editor will. But make it really polished and really good. But with a live stream, I love this kind of back and forth and this conversation and people in the chat talking to each other. I think that provides more value and more engagement. So that's why at the moment I'm doing with more people from home, because with a video people can pause it, watch it in their own time. But with live streaming, they want to be there. They want to see what's going on, get involved in the chat. And now everyone at home, I'm really doing more live streaming, and I am actually really enjoying it. Actually got very good feedback on my Battleship coding assignment interview. It's public on GitHub. Awesome. Did you code that? That's such great news. I love hearing that. I love hearing that you got good feedback, and it's public on GitHub. I think the public on GitHub for me is the kind of, I think it's just always interesting to see how people solve the same challenge, because even if someone used the same technologies as you and was given the same challenge of, say, Battleship, they'd code it differently. And I love seeing how different people code it. And I say different people, I don't just mean people with like 20 years experience. I think seeing people with different years experience, from literally just starting coding to middle to top, everyone looks at it very differently. And I learn from everyone. So I know you're really experienced in that area. So it's really good to see how you would do it. I'd love to see someone with less experience than you solve it as well. Yes, it won't probably be as good, but it's interesting to see how they think about it. That's why I love pairing with more junior people, people with less experience, because they look at a problem so differently to me. Or if someone from a different tech stack, like apart from React, I think React people just only know the React way. That's really bad. I shouldn't say that. Yeah, forget that. I didn't say that. But pairing with other people from, say, Java or PHP or whatever it is, I love the way they look at the problem differently, and they think, oh, our framework did it this way. So, you might not do it that way, but it's good to be aware of the other option. And if you're aware of the other option, you can then choose to use it or not use it. But you've made a conscious decision. Whereas if you're not aware of something else, then you haven't done it that way, not consciously, just because you didn't know about it. I think design patterns go across different languages. So you've got things like the adapter pattern, factories, etc., and they go across different languages. And a lot of them are implemented the same between technologies and languages. But the interesting part is a lot of these design patterns do have overlap, and so there is no perfect design pattern to solve that solution, because it depends kind of how you want to take it and where you want to go in the future. There might be 2 or 3 that could solve it fairly well. That's why I love seeing how other people would use that design pattern and what design patterns they think are good, because then that way I think it just gives a different perspective, and I find I learn a lot more that way. So yes, I love pairing with people who do things differently, is what I'm trying to say. in a long-winded, roundabout way with my, yeah, terrible English. Got very good feedback. Yes, I look forward to seeing that. So when we get you on the stream, we can have a look at your code and you can talk us through it, how you did things, why you did things in a certain way. Was that written in Kotlin? I'd be interested to see that. Vue is really nice. Haven't used Angular yet. Sorry, no problem, Connor. But it's more structured than React. I think it works well for medium-sized applications. Yeah, I know people love the flexibility of React being a library, but for me, I see that as more of a negative. I like more structure. What I would like to learn TypeScript. I'm sure you can use TypeScript with Vue. TypeScript is amazing. I do everything. Like my Express Node apps are in TypeScript for my APIs. Angular obviously is in TypeScript. TypeScript is awesome. I really highly recommend it, and I really, really like it. You can still write JavaScript in it, but you get the best of both worlds. And if you put it on like super strict mode, it's almost like Java. Obviously not at runtime, but when you're developing, and especially when you're working with someone or you've written something a few days ago, you can check the types and you know what properties are on it, you know what the types of those properties should be. Like never use any. So when I start a project, I always put it in super strict mode, so you can't use any. Everything needs a type. I just love that. It just removes so many issues. Yes, in Kotlin for Android. Okay, cool. So look forward to seeing that, and then you can give us a demo. I was actually thinking of writing a game on a live stream. Like I was thinking of taking maybe half a day to a day out and just maybe writing a game in something like Phaser, so in TypeScript in the browser, just writing, I don't know, like a Flappy Birds or kind of like a Mario or some like not battleships, spaceships. Spaceships? You know the one where the spaceship like flies from the side and goes up and down and you kind of get the enemies going on. Not battleships, not spaceships. Space Invaders? No, Space Invaders was the other one from the bottom. I can't remember, but you know what I mean. And I know about a year or two ago, probably 2 years ago, Andrew and me wrote one, but Phaser didn't support TypeScript very well, and so we weren't sure what we were doing, and it was moving from version, I think, 2 to 3 at the time. And so the documentation wasn't great and all their examples were in version 2, but I think now they've improved it a lot. I just think it'd be fun. And then what I really thought, what about adding Firebase and making it real time? Like so I could play with somebody else in the network. Oh my God, what happens if you just had to put your name, didn't log in, put your name, and I could share a link to it in the chat and we could all play together. The game might get a bit crazy. It's like all these different, I don't know, whatever we're doing, like ships, spaceships, or I don't know, what game could you do multiplayer with kind of, not unlimited amount of people, but maybe if I've got 10 people on the stream now, with like, I say half join, so 5 people, what game could you kind of play with like 5, 6 people on it, I suppose? In real time, it'd have to be more turn-based maybe, rather than actual, like real time, obviously not first person shoot 'em up, but like with a spaceship shooting or like ping pong or something. I guess that wouldn't be fast enough going via Firebase. So it has to be a turn-based game, and then people could join in the next game. Oh, this is not going to take more than a day. Like I've just kind of invented. Amadine says gaming, yes. I know Andrew and me are building a quiz platform to do a technical quiz, but something, I don't know, Phaser looked really cool just to do kind of some shooting games, but maybe I couldn't do it. Maybe I couldn't do it in real time. I don't know, what do you think? Like, let me know in the chat. Let me know. So we've got a thumbs up to gaming from Amadine and, oh my God, I can't pronounce your name. Leo. I need to get you on the stream and tell everyone how to pronounce it and tell me how to pronounce it. Battleship 2-player real-time with Firebase. Yeah, because Battleship is turn-based, right? So you could do that with 2-player, 3-player, 4-player. Turn-based, I think, would work. I wonder if you could do like a Phaser, because it's got the physics of the Phaser engine in JavaScript, TypeScript. I wonder if you could do that turn-based, because, yeah, I'm sure you could do that turn-based, because then it's like animated, so you could do maybe Battleships. Battleship is 2-player real-time on Firebase. Yes, see, and Connor's giving us the thumbs up as well. Like, this is brilliant. I think we could do something. I don't know the rules of Battleship, sorry, Fireship. Battleship, that's the one where you kind of, do your battleships get randomly placed or do you place them? And then you have some that are like 4 squares, right? And some that are like 3 squares or something. And then they're on your board, only I see it. And then you do the same on your board. And then you kind of see a board, which is my board, but it's blank, and then you kind of pick a square, and either I say hit or miss, and then you track what's been a hit or miss. That's correct. That's battleships, I think, right? Um, Turn-based RPG would be cool, like old school Final Fantasy. I never played Final Fantasy, so actually I'm not sure what it is. I have to look that up. RPG is like role-playing game, right? You have to have a look. Check out a phaser. See what we could do with phaser. Let me get a link, and we're interested to know. Share some ideas. If I just share this, this is what I'm thinking of using, and let me know what you think we could do. Like share some ideas, and maybe we have like a full day stream or something. We'll break for lunch, obviously. Full day stream, and people could come on and join me. Right? I can invite guests, and on on the stream, and on VS Code, I can share so you can use VS Code and help me make code changes and stuff, and we could pair on it. I think we could do something like that maybe. Like we'll start off really simple, getting it deployed like I don't know, deployed to Firebase, and then people could play it, and we could keep a score of who's played it and their score or something like that. I know that'd be quite cool actually. I think it'd be quite interactive. Joshua, what's the face for? Is that good face, bad face? I don't know. Hopefully, you kind of have a shocked good face. You place your ships and hit the other player's ships without seeing them. Yeah, exactly right. Okay, here's the game that I thought of. Haven't played that in years. I remember being on the plane. Actually, on the plane going to Lebanon as a kid, and playing with my sister next to me. But it's kind of hard when you're sitting on the plane and they're right next to you, and you kind of open it and they've got theirs because it's like an upside down T, right? It's kind of like I'm drawing that really badly, but it's kind of like that, and you're trying to see about trying to hide your side. So yeah, we could do battleships. Yeah, noughts and crosses. That's a bit boring with phaser. I like to do something like pretty nice. But I guess with battleships, it's not animated per se. It's more grid based. And have a look at phaser as well. See if we can do something like that, turn based, kind of like Worms. Do you remember Worms, the game where you're gonna get like your 5 characters and it's turn based. So you then shoot. You shoot, and then it's got some, I don't know, some wind that affects your kind of projectile, and then it kind of blows up the map or the person, and then it's their turn. That would work as a 2-player, 3-player, unlimited players, really. I don't know if I could do that, that'd be quite hard. But I'm sure on Phaser they have some sprites that you could use. It's got the physics engine, definitely. That could be really good. Battleships is good too. You can also minimize read and writes by only using crudding at the end of each round. I think, but then how would you communicate between the two people? Because you'd need to have that communication. I was thinking to go via Firestore to maintain the state, because if someone refreshes the page, they've got that state in that game. So maybe in the URL have like, I don't know, question mark game ID equals whatever, 1, 2, 3, 4. And therefore if they refresh or they need to go back, they can, and then they load the state and whose turn it is. So you'd need that communication via Firestore is my understanding. But I don't have all the answers, so I'm open to suggestions and performance improvements. But performance improvements we can do later, right? You know, a Firebase is pretty cheap, and I don't think you're going to get such a massive amount of people using it. But it'd be good to like have a scoreboard. I know I'm doing one with Andrew on my other channel, Code Mortals, on a quiz. But I wonder if I can do something with Phaser. I wonder if I can take, or maybe we should start by taking one of their existing games and making it multiplayer, and then we can adapt it. I don't know, got some ideas around there. We need to have a think and see. Do something like Worms. Yeah, yeah, Worms would be good. I don't know if that's possible. I would have to try and see what's pre-built with Phaser and like nick bits from existing projects and see. I wonder if there is a game on there that we can make multiplayer, or which would be quite cool. I'm actually doing a collaboration with Ably. Sarishka from Ably, they do real-time communication. They don't store the data, they do real-time communication where we're looking to make a multiplayer game. So that is a live stream I have on the books in the next couple of weeks. I'll keep you posted on that. So that won't store state, you have to still store it in the database, but I was quite keen to see how fast Ably does it. Maybe with that side, because it's not going like via a database like Firestore, you could do more of a real-time game in there, a bit like kind of ping pong or not a role-based game. You could do it more as real-time games. That'd be quite different. Have you used Unity 3D? I have. I actually won a hackathon where I did a VR game with Unity. I think it was Unity 3D, the latest one. I didn't enjoy it, to be honest. I really didn't enjoy it. I just thought Unity was just drag and drop and clunky, and the coding was minimal. That's why something like Phaser, where I can actually code it, just seems to make more sense to me. But I know last time I played with Phaser, which was a while ago, I wasn't very good at removing the assets off the page. So like as the asteroids came on, I didn't clear it up. So the game just got slower and slower and took up more memory and more memory. So I have to remember to kind of, I was going to say unsubscribe, but I don't know if that's the right word. I have to read their docs and have a look. But yeah, we could do that. We should set up like a half day or a day, maybe one weekend, and or even during the week, right? People can just pop in, see how it's going, give some suggestions. And if I push up to GitHub, kind of, quite frequently, people can then improve it. Like I said, people can join me on the stream. Actually, give me an idea. Who would be interested in joining on the stream to work on it for a bit? Even if it's only for like 30 minutes or 20 minutes, just join on, say hey, give some suggestions. We can log some issues, or you can log some issues in the background. You don't have to come on the stream, but interested to know who join on the stream, help me with a bit of coding, and then you can just drop off when you've had enough, or you got to go back to work or whatever you're doing, busy with family or whatever it is. We're just interested to just make the live stream more dynamic. Well, there's a lot of coding that you can do. It's up to you if you want to do drag and drop or more writing code. Okay, that's interesting. I haven't played with it that much for Unity, so I couldn't say. So okay, that's cool. That's good to know. We've been using Signal R for C#, and we have real-time notifications to use WebSockets. It's really cool. Yeah, I heard actually, I had a Dean from Microsoft last Friday on my live stream, and he was talking about Signal R, how it's C# kind of, it started off as a C# only specific, but they've now ported over to Azure, so you can use it for other things now apparently. And he was saying that's really good, and it works with WebSockets and then downgrades with older browsers to put long polling and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I hear that's really, really good. Abuzir is interested. Awesome. Yeah, it'd be good to get you on. And like I said, you just come on for a bit, drop off, come on later. I will, I can create these links quite easily where you join, and once you're finished, I can just close the link and create another one for someone else, unlimited, so people can just join on the stream. So it'd be good to, like I said, make it more dynamic, right? Get different points of views, just get someone else coding. And I think you all have, VS Code, right? So I can just add you as a collaborator on the project, and then I can just follow you on my VS Code, and then you can kind of control it. And I think that could work quite well. Or we'll just try it. If it doesn't work well, I won't do it again. It's a bit of fun, really. So I love this live streaming, experimenting, and I want to experiment more with different technologies, with different people. Again, I love seeing how different people just approach a problem and how they solve it. It's really interesting. It's why I pair a lot with Andrew, because he solves things very differently to me. So I learn from him, he learns from me. I break things, he fixes them. You'll see when you join the stream. VS Code is my favorite editor, using it for years now. Nice. Yeah, it took me a while to get used to VS Code, but I do really like it as well now. And the live code share is brilliant, is really, really good. You should do it at the weekend if possible. Okay, interesting to know. Okay, so weekend is better. So this weekend, I might not get time to do it because I'm partnering with a hackathon and I'm going to be streaming that. But maybe next weekend, I'll have more time to have a think about it as well, do a bit of research. And I'll do it at a weekend and then see if people, if that's better for people. So the weekend after, maybe we could do it. That would be awesome. We've only got about 5 minutes left of today's lunchtime stream. Always let me know some feedback in the chat, what you'd like to see, how I can help, any suggestions on my stream. Oh, I have got some other things. I've got this ticker here. I didn't put the sticker on. So that's my social stuff below. Don't forget to give the live stream a thumbs up. It really helps. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, and tell your friends, bring your friends along. Live streaming with friends is better. Actually, I should tweet that. That's quite a good tweet. Which editor do you prefer other than VS Code? Now, only VS Code, but before I was using IntelliJ, which had like PHP Storm and WebStorm, and I had the whole IntelliJ package. I love that, but eventually I moved to VS Code. I moved to Atom and I hated it, so I went back to IntelliJ. And then when I went to VS Code, I kind of thought it was a bit like Atom, but then with the plugins, it just made like on steroids. and it was really good. So yeah, I massively prefer it now. It's really the only thing that I would use. And then I've got this other thing down here below. This is me. There we go. Cool. I've got some new animations coming soon. I'll keep you posted. So anything I can help you with, let me know in the chat. Varun, good to have you here. I missed out a question. I want to say, okay, I'll come back to that one. How to get started building mobile apps? I want to do an Ionic app, which also supports React now as well as Angular. But I'd be keen to. I was at a hackathon for a fintech for a high street bank in London, and I used Ionic at a hackathon. It's a one-day hackathon, so there's a lot to cram in. And actually got deployed to my phone in a working iOS app. So I want to do more of that actually. So that'd actually be quite good. I should do that on the live stream as well. Thanks for that suggestion, Varun. Let me bring that up. I need to bring some of these up, right? Let's bring some of these up. Oh no, the wrong one. Take that away. Take the title away and put the socials up. Thank you. So yes, I'll do that. And sorry, Connor, I missed yours. Do you build in source control in VS Code for Git? I find it really helpful. Do you use built-in source control in VS Code for Git? I do and I don't. I'm so used to the command line that I use that a lot more, but for the diff of what's changed, I really like VS Code for that. I need to get, Lenses is really good as well. I need to get better at using VS Code. There are some amazing plugins for that. There is a cool VS Code extension for uppercase and lowercase variable with one command. It's really handy, especially for constants. Yeah, that's true. There are so many good plugins. And yeah, like one I used recently from, I can't think who it was, one of the Microsoft DevRel team, and they allow you to color VS Code, so like kind of green or blue. So if you've got like your API open in VS Code and you've got your UI open in VS Code and say your library open in VS Code, you've got 3 VS Codes open, and sometimes you have to kind of have a look and see which one you're in, especially when all mine are in TypeScript. But if I can color one to be kind of have a border of green or have a theme of green, one to be blue, one to be yellow or whatever, grey, black, white, and then it just immediately I know which one I'm in. And if I'm paying off someone, they know which one I'm in as well. So that's cool. I use VS Code Git. It's awesome. Yeah, we should have. I should probably do a video on like useful VS Code extensions. But I'll be really interested. I have to collate everyone's feedback and see what other people like as well, because they're just changing all the time. I'm not aware of everything. What's the name for that plugin? Oh my God, I can't remember. Let me have a quick look. If you all don't mind bearing with me for a second, I will have a look. I've got VS Code here. I wish I could open it and show it to you. I will get that sorted. I've got a to-do app on to-do plugin on VS Code, which is really awesome. Which kind of when you write, and as a comment to do, it highlights it, and it also brings up a list on the side. You get an extra panel on the side, and you can see all your to-dos in the project. So before you do your commit, you can go back and fix all your to-dos, which I think is great. So how do I find my extensions that I've got installed? It is, I can't see it. I don't know. I'll find out and let you know. I have quite a few extensions installed. I can't see it. But it's definitely working because this is green. I've got another one that's blue over there. So it's definitely working. I will find out. Remind me and I'll find out for you. JavaScript versus Python for web apps. Well, Python will be server-side. So you'd do server-side rendering for your HTML and CSS and push that all up sort of thing. Whereas I prefer full stack JavaScript because TypeScript because it's the same on the front end as well as the back end, and therefore you use client side rendering. I know server side rendering has been really popular in the past, and then it went to client side rendering, and then now server side rendering. Oh God, I can't even speak. I'm speaking way too fast. I was watching the clock and it's 2 o'clock already. But let me start again. Bear with me. I'm not drunk, promise. Server-side rendering has been really popular in the past, and then it went to client-side rendering about 10 years ago, and that became the buzz and everything else. And then now server-side rendering is getting more and more popular. So I think it swings and roundabouts. I still prefer client-side rendering. Have you worked with any back-end technology? I've used Node and Laravel. Yeah, I used to use, on the PHP world, I hadn't used Laravel, I didn't like it too much. I used Symfony and Zend, more Symfony, but that was going over 6 years. I've been using full stack JavaScript, like I said, TypeScript, I should put that in brackets, the last 6 years. But before that, Java was Spring Boot, and yeah, the PHP. But now, yeah, full stack JavaScript seems to be really, really popular. Also time to get back to work. Enjoy the rest of the day, everyone. Connor, thank you so much for joining. Yes, it's time for me to get back to work as well. My client's probably watching this and I need to head back to work. Don't forget to give my video a thumbs up. Thank you all so much for taking your lunch break or whatever time it is in your part of the world to join me, and for your chat and your motivation in the chat and your collaboration. I loved it. I look forward to seeing you same time tomorrow, 1 p.m. UK time, or wherever it is in your world. Look forward to seeing you then, and I will get some more sleep so I mumble less and speak slower. I'll catch you all soon. Thank you all so much. Have an awesome day. I have a holding page somewhere. Have an awesome day, everyone. Thank you.